Welcome to Voxwomen Cycling Show.
Coming up in this month's show, we enjoyed afternoon tea with United Healthcare Pro Cycling. Iris Schlappendel brings us her top tips. We see behind the scenes with Supermint Pro Cycling. We catch up with the action from Philadelphia. And we're in the UK for the Aviva Womens Tour, where we spent some time getting to know defending champion Lisa Brennauer.
For me, the transition from going to one sponsor to another sponsor was pretty easy actually, because we're riding on a new product, we have some new partners, but the structure of the team and the staff, for example, and also a couple of riders are still the same, so I directly felt very comfortable. So for me, our team is a good mixture of riders. We have very experienced riders, we have some young riders like Hannah Barnes, for example, and Alexis Ryan. So for me, it's pretty cool to have this mixture of also different nationalities, and that's keeping the energy fresh, and it's good atmosphere. Our team started into the season already with one of the biggest results this year, which was the overall victory of Trixie Work in Tour of Qatar. So we started the season with lots of energy, and there were a couple of high moments with a second place for me at the World Tour race in Gent-Wevelgem, for example. There were some races that didn't go as planned. Maybe Flanders, for example, where we missed the breakaway, or also Tour of Grazia, where the team started very, very well, and in the end they had to give up on their chances on a GC victory. So so far all has been there this year, some moments down, some moments up, and but now we want to look forward and hope for some more results this year. My teammate Trixie Work, she's doing really well. A couple of weeks ago I called her and she told me that she's almost ready to come back to racing, which was probably a big surprise for a lot of people, also for me. She had a very big crash this year and she lost one kidney, and so it's unbelievable that she can race already, and she had her come back to racing now last weekend, and it was a special weekend for us to have her back, and also have her head back, because that's what's always making us strong as a team, is her big experience. So it was a very good weekend for us. The big aims for me personally is of course Olympic Games. I mean, it's one of my highlights this season, and for many other riders too. Then we have very late World Championships, of course, another big highlight. But first we go into this nice Aviva Womens Tour, and coming back as last year's winner, of course you hope for some good results this week. It's very exciting to see that how the tour is developing. It's the third year now, and every year you can feel a huge development, and this tour so quickly became one of the biggest events in women's cycling. So coming here now, and I see also the profile becoming harder, is I think that it's going to make the race even more challenging, maybe even more exciting. Now that summertime is starting, I hope that the team can show off in the stage races and probably take home some more really nice victories.
90 riders started stage 1 of the third Aviva Women's Tour, 138 kilometres from Southwold to Norwich. Marianne Vos signalled her intent, picking up points at the first intermediate sprint in Beccles, while Leah Kirchmann outsprinted Chantal Black and Gracie Elvin at the second sprint in Pulham Market. Despite an early crash, American Alison Tetrick attacked with more than 20 kilometres to go, and the Silence Pro Cycling rider looked like she might make it to the finish. Huge crowds lined the street to cheer her on as she approached the finish line. But she was overtaken with less than 100 metres to go, as Boels-Dolman's rider Christine Majerus sprinted to victory over Marianne Vos and Giorgia Bronzini. After a tough first stage, Christine Majerus would wear the yellow jersey, just 1 second ahead of Marianne Vos. Stage 2 was the longest of the women's tour, as the riders raced 140 kilometres from Atherstone to Stratford-upon-Avon in very wet conditions. Lotte Lepista of Cervela Bigla won the first intermediate sprint in Kenilworth on what was sure to be a tough day in the saddle. Vos again showed she was back to her best, outsprinting race leader Majerus to pick up some bonus seconds. Meanwhile, the peloton manoeuvred through flash floods. Defending champion Lisa Brennauer of CANYON SRAM led the sprint out to the finish. But it was Vos who crossed the line first, and with that, rode into the yellow leader's jersey. Before the race began, we caught up with one of the visiting international teams. We're here on a slightly soggy afternoon in East Anglia. United Healthcare have flown all the way from the States, and they've invited me for afternoon tea and a bit of a natter ahead of the Aviva Womens Tour. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Thanks for inviting me to afternoon tea.
Thanks for coming.
This looks marvellous. Who's going to pour?
Oh, me.
What a spread we've got here. Welcome to Britain. We're having the very traditional afternoon tea. So thank you to United Healthcare for inviting us here. I think, firstly, I'd like to know how much travelling you guys actually do.
So this is actually my first world tour, so I'm finding all of that out right now, yeah.
How many countries do you think you visited so far this year?
Belgium, the Netherlands, Italy, Spain, America, Argentina.
And we're here in England, obviously. What are your impressions of Britain?
It's wet.
It rains.
It's a really well organized race, though.
Okay, it's pretty wet. Yeah. It's pretty wet. How will that affect the race, do you think?
I think it'll make it more exciting. I mean, I think it changes it up a lot, right? Because, people aren't as comfortable in the rain, so.
Yeah, you just see people who have good, technical skills instead of that aren't just strong, so.
What are your favourite places to travel?
I like to train in my home, but I like to race, all over Europe. I think this is a really fun race because the courses are so fun. I like the small roads, the winding roads. Makes racing really interesting.
For sure, being here is super cool. Plus, everyone here is, really excited about the race.
Who's most likely to forget their passport?
Probably Katie.
Have you done that before?
No. I did once go to the airport with the wrong passport, though. Also problematic.
Who in the team is a real foodie? Who loves food and loves to cook and eat and discover new dishes?
I like to eat. Not much I like to cook, but I like to eat, yeah.
Anyone else who likes to seek out kind of the local delicacies or?
Yeah. Usually we have to eat race food for the first part of the race, but when we go to a place, we love, especially the night the race ends, to kind of go out for a meal at that place, have, here maybe English pub food the last night of the race. I think it'll be nice.
I use Yelp a lot to seek out the food. Like the bakery today. Found it on Yelp.
What did you have at the bakery?
Katie got chantilly cake. And we're and she's like, but can I get it to go? And I'm sitting there. Okay, Katie, we have to ride half an hour back to the house. How are you going to put this cake in? But she had
I
her.
pulled out a helmet bag, put it on my back, pulled out a rain jacket, put that over my helmet bag.
Keep the cake safe.
Yes. The whole ride.
Priority one.
Yep.
Well, on that note, I'm going to leave you guys to enjoy your cake and get ready for race day. Best of luck. Thanks for tea.
Cheerio, mate.
Cheerio.
Doodle bit.
Ta-ta.
Hi Voxwomen, I'm Ruth Winder For the track riders, we got our Olympic selection in the middle of March, and we do 5 to 6 races in a season. So it becomes not obvious, but it becomes pretty apparent who's gonna go for the Olympics just because who's being taken to the races. The selection was made right after the World Championships, so if you were on the World Championships team, then you knew you had a pretty good shot of making the Olympic team. But it still comes down to just waiting for that day to hear from the coaches and USA Cycling about what the final decision on the team. Going into Rio, the track team really just tries to focus on every day giving 100% and looking at all the small things so that we can ensure that we're our best when it comes to race day in the Olympics.
Don't go away. We'll be back right after our tea break.
Welcome back to the Voxwomen Cycling Show.
Hi, it's Ida Slappendel from the United Healthcare Pro Cycling team. We're in Britain for the Aviva Womens Tour and I have some tips for you for riding long stages like we do here. Tip 1. Eat and drink in the race. It's obvious, but anyway I will tell you because you will need it. From the start eating with little sandwiches, bars, gels, energy drink in your bottle. You will need it. You will need it for the stage and you will need it for the next day. So eating and drinking is really important. Tip 2. Save energy. It's a long day, so you will need the energy at the end if you want to have a good result. Try to stay in the bunch, not in the wind, follow wheels and have a good race plan so you know what's the deciding moment in the race and you can use your energy at that point. Tip number 3. Wear your favorite bibs, good chamois and don't forget the chamois cream. Tip number 4. Pee stop. In a long stage sometimes from the start it's not going so fast and for sure some people have to pee. If you're that person, pee as soon as possible. Don't wait for the final because that's not a good moment to pee. And also a little extra tip, try to have some girls with you for the pee stop because it's better to pee together than alone if you want to chase back. Tip number 5. We're in England after all, so you never know what the weather is gonna be like. So have a rain bag in the car with a rain jacket, something dry because you never know when it starts pouring down and you will need something. You need some extra clothes. Good luck.
Some of those tips will surely come in handy at the Aviva Womens Tour as the riders tackled stage 3, 109 kilometres from Ashbourne to Chesterfield. With bonus seconds up for grabs, both intermediate sprints were hotly contested, with Voss and Roxanne Netterman coming out on top. Renowned climber Ashley Moolman-Pasio attacked on one of the punishing hills, bringing an elite group with her, including Eliza Longo-Borghini, Lizzie Armistead and Emma Johansson. The group battled down the final kilometre, winding their way through the streets of Chesterfield, but it was Lizzie Armistead who overpowered the rest and outpaced them all the way to the finish line. The bunch, led by Voss, came in over 30 seconds later, which gave the lead to Armistead, just 5 seconds ahead of Moolman-Pasio. Day 4 dawned as the riders took to the start line on stage 4, 119 kilometres from Nottingham to Stoke-on-Trent. The battle was on between Armistead and Voss, with the duo watching each other the whole time. Emilia Farlin of Ale Cipollini attacked, with Drop Cycling leading the chase. Farlan was caught, but an elite group were quick to counterattack, including Longo Borghini, Moolman Passio, Armistead and Johansson. Canyon SRAM led the chase while Boels Dolmans were marking any moves. But the quartet were caught as they approached the final few kilometres into Stoke-on-Trent. It looked likely a bunch sprint was on, and Vos took control on the final corner onto the finishing straight. Vos powered to victory and clawed back 12 seconds on Lizzie Armistead's overall lead. The fifth and final stage saw the riders race 113 kilometres from Northampton to Kettering, and Armistead was quick to pick up some bonus seconds thanks to the superb work of her team, Boels Dolmans. An elite breakaway of 8 riders formed, and they powered away, putting time into their rivals. With the peloton bearing down on them, the group sprinted to the line, and it was Lepisto who took the victory, while Armistead held on to the overall lead.
It's been a fabulous tour for our team. I think we really showed what we're about. Boels Dolmans is probably the most dominant team in the world at the moment, and I couldn't have got this jersey without them.
Moolman Passio took second, 11 seconds back, and Longo Borghini was third. Victories on the road aren't possible without the guidance of the director sportif. We went behind the scenes with Hagens Berman Supermint Pro Cycling.
Today's stage is something that's unlike any other that I've seen in the US. That's just the course itself, but then couple that with the athletes that we have here. It's going to be a classic, like a one-day just smash fest.
So let's get this party started. Yeah, a huge group being called to the front line there, as we got a ton of.
Approaching kilometre 0. Have a great race, ladies. Our plan, we've got Scotty Lechuga, who's had a really good early season in the US. I think she's 5th in the country right now in the USA Pro Tour. So, and this sort of stage, you know, the technical parts of it, the climbs, the wind, she's good at all that sort of stuff. So the aim is for her to be, you know, when the heads of state really do start to create the race later, the aim is for her to be a part of that. So we'll see how it goes. Liza and Alison, that's good. Just let Canyon and Silence bring this back together. Good job, mate. Good. Yep. Get on.
It's raining down here.
Okay. I'll let them know as we get closer.
Leaders approaching the summit of the.
Hey, Loretta. Great job, mate. Alison and Liza are in a group of about 25, about 5 minutes off the back. And Erie, Mara Abbott's solo, she has about 20 seconds. Oh, she got caught. So there's a group of 8, and Erie is in it. Here we go.
2 kilometres, 2 kilometres.
Believe in yourself, Scotty. Great day. Bike racing, you gotta love it, right? Hopefully Scotty's come out with a top 10, we'll see. Great ride by Erie, great ride by Scotty. Whole team really, yeah.
Very good.
Earlier in the month, the UCI Women's World Tour headed to Philadelphia, and it gave the American riders another chance to shine on home soil. The Philadelphia International Classic was 118 kilometres long, comprising 6 laps of a challenging 19.7 kilometre course, each time taking in the epic Manayunk Wall. There were some early breakaways, but a very active peloton never let them get too far away. On the last lap, it was all to play for, and Tiffany Cromwell of Canyon SRAM took charge at the front, with Caroline Canuel and Megan Garnier on her wheel. But Garnier, who has already won the Women's Tour of California and the US Nationals this season, proved too strong, and she powered away to victory up the final climb, consolidating her lead in the UCI Women's World Tour.
Well, the title Queen of the Mountains, I mean, that's a lifetime goal, man. Who wouldn't want to be Queen of the Mountains? But we just wanted to have an aggressive race and get out there and have some fun in Philadelphia.
Yeah, we had some great workers in Caroline and Kasha, and they just followed everything and made sure we were represented. And yeah, just for Evie and I wait for the last climb.
Longo Borghini of Wiggle High Five finished second, and Alina Amialusic of Canyon SRAM rounded off the podium in third. That's all we've got time for this month. Join us again next time, where we'll be featuring 2 of the highlights of the World Tour, the Giro Rosa and La Course.
Thanks for watching the Voxwomen Cycling Show. Bye!